In lesson 5, we want to generate an output that will be built every time we statically build our site. This output should contain all the post data that we need to then query when we type in our search. Now, really quickly, if you are behind or struggling at all, you can remember to grab the code. Just make sure you go to lesson 4 from the last lesson, download that, and you can pick up right where we're at right now. Now, why do we want to do this? Well, essentially what we're wanting to do is type in a search term. When we search, we then want to come over here and grab all the content of our post. This will just be JSON content that then gets loaded onto this search route. Then we can query that with client-side JavaScript, and that will allow us to basically search it using our fuzzy searcher, which we'll use in a future video. Now, Astro allows you to set up different endpoints. These can be any kind of static files like JS or TS files that then get put as JSON files. You can also do images, as you can see here. So there's a bunch of things you can do. What we're going to do is basically create a JSON file and then basically query that every time we type in our search field once again. So let's come over here, and underneath the pages directory, which is where you have to put it, we're going to add something called search.json.js. Now you need to export an async function. This function will be called get for a GET request, and the function itself will simply return a new response, which will be json.stringify, and I'm going to stringify await get posts. Now this will be a function we'll write in a second, but as the second argument, I need to actually pass in a status, so I'll say status of 200, and headers, content type, application JSON. Now if I save this, we're going to get an error, so let's go ahead and come in here first of all and just write this function up top. So this will be an async function called getPosts. For now, let's just return like a string with, I don't know, nothing in it, or we could say like hi, all right, something like that. So we've saved that. Let's now come over here, and I'm going to add search.json here. You can see that I get a string with search.json. So I guess now that I think about it, this doesn't need to be a string. It could just be an array like this, and then here we go. It gets stringified here. Okay, so now that we've got this, what I want to do is actually query all of our posts. Now there is an actual route on this that does that. That's, let's see, right here. You might remember that we deleted this when we duplicated that page. So I knew it was already over there. Let's go ahead and use the same thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and await that collection. If you hit Control in the spacebar, you can grab that from Astro content. And now what I can do is simply return the posts. Now, as soon as I do that and refresh here, you see I get all of my posts, which is pretty cool, right? Now, just to make sure we know what we're getting here, let's go ahead and console log this. Because this is server side, it should show up down below here. Yeah, down here. So just to make it a little bit easier to see, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Console Ninja and show this off to the side. Now, because I'm using Astro, I need to switch over to see the server logs, and here it is. So I'm getting an array of posts, and each of these posts have an ID, the slug. They have the body, which is the content that I get. So all the markdown that I wrote on that. You get a collection, you get all the data, which is the title, the description, the pub date, the hero image for each of these. Now, I don't actually want it to be this big. You could, but then you're having every user load this, and once you have like 500 posts on your site, this will be a very slow route, the search route. So what I'm going to do is kind of cool this down a little bit and just get exactly what I want. So you can return posts. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there in case that's what you want to do. You'd have to change a lot of the other code because I will basically be processing this and only returning what I want. In that case, what I want to do is return the post.map. I want to take each post and I want to return an object for that post. So to return an object directly here, I need to wrap it in parentheses. Each object I want to have several different properties. Here I want it to have a slug, which would be my post.slug. I'd also want it to have a title. And if you remember the way our data was structured, that's post.data.title. Let's copy this down 2 more times because I want the title here. I'll grab the first one, hit Command D. I also want the description. And then I also want the date, or we could call it pub date, I guess, because I think that's what it's called here. Yeah, pub date. Let's just leave it as date right here. So now I'm returning custom data from this collection query. And you can see that this is a lot smaller. Obviously, it will not produce quite as good a results. So if you want to include the entire post, you're welcome to do that, or just maybe provide a more robust description to see exactly what's there. Now, once again, now that we've got this search route, what I want to do is when I get to our actual search route here, when I start to type, I want to query that JSON file. And then just like I showed you earlier, this will pass it back and we can actually figure out what matches based on the user's input. Okay, see you there.